And it doesn't appear to be getting any better. And there has only been just two breakdowns. I mean, if I owned it, it would definitely be getting sprayed by this. Yeah. But being it's a loaner, I'll be respectful. Welcome back to the Lost Cause Ranch. So we are at the Red Ball Garage, where every true Cannonball starts. And we have a freaking boatload of Land Rovers. Starting off here in New York City, including two mighty Freelanders. That is right, we are off to LA. There is even an orange D5 making the trip. We are doing our own little Cannonball run, perfectly named the Roverball. We're gonna do this over a 4-day period, making a bunch of stops throughout the country, having a blast with a bunch of other Land Rover nerds. Because this is a race, not a rally. Or wait, I mean, rally, not a race. No, we're not doing this for speed. We are just proving that Land Rovers are more reliable than you think. Or at least a well-maintained Land Rover can make it across the country. And then we're also going to see if a moderately maintained Freelander can do the same. And there is someone even crazier than the Freelander people, who in their right mind would take a P38 across the country. This guy, a hero. And we are off. From the Red Ball Garage, we got like 2,800 miles, a bunch of Land Rovers. It's going to be a friggin' blast. We'll see you in California shortly. I honestly can't believe how many people showed up. There's a bunch of crazies out there. I'm navigating a bunch of Land Rovers to New York City. It's quite interesting. We even did the obligatory trip through Times Square this morning.
Everybody needs their Times Square shot.
I will say I'll be mighty happy once we're out of downtown here. It's been the only stressful part of driving the Freelander so far. I just feel like if it's gonna let me down, it's gonna let me down in the most inconvenient spot possible, which would be here. Thankfully, we made it out of the frickin' city alive, and we lost the check engine light. Does it get any better than that? Man, they are comically small compared to real Land Rovers. They're just little cute guys. Our first little breakfast stop, we have all the Land Rovers lined up. So far, shockingly, neither of the Freelanders broke. Although one of them is leaking oil. I think they have the Freelanders leading the group, so they don't run away from us. Or they can catch us on the side of the road. Do you like my new shades? I found them in the Freelander. The gift that keeps on giving. We successfully hit our first stop in traffic. It did take nearly 300 miles though. I wonder if anyone else in the group has to stress about stop and go like I do. I'm intently watching that coolant temp gauge. Good thing we aren't actually doing the Cannonball for time, because we haven't made it too far. Traffic is kind of a mess out there right now, and we had a little bit of an incident, so we're going to gas up, hang out for a bit. And I figured I'd park next to a van that looks as equally sketchy as the Freelander. And we got our check engine light back. Look at all those Rovers pulling into lunch. We even picked up a couple new guys here in Ohio. I mean, it doesn't even get any better than a freaking tray for the food. And we got John here. I thought he was our Pennsylvania buddy, but
I am.
But you're in Ohio.
What? I'm allowed to
You're
cross
allowed
state
to
lines.
leave? I have not seen John's 110.
So this is the 110, and this is the only sticker that goes on the paint. Is the ode to Oxford.
Cool looking truck though.
Thank you.
I like it.
Custom paint. Had the full nut and bolt restoration, everything down, back up again. So
it looks the part.
Harold did all the work except for the painting.
Hello, my Rover friends. We are at, and I cannot pronounce the name of this place. Where are we at?
Swenson.
You gotta look at this. That is quite the hauling going on there. So a couple of us peeled off. I mean, we're going through the Midwest, so we have to visit a buddy when we do that. We'll catch back up with the rest of the group after that. So we're somewhere in Ohio and pulled over on the side of the road. And that looks like a tad bit more than AC condensation. Luckily, I got some Land Rover friends with me. We're gonna go investigate further. I brought coolant, but it might be staying at Craig's by the look of it. We stopped to get gas real quick, and it doesn't appear to be getting any better. We're gonna have to investigate once we get to Craig's here, but I don't know. At this very moment, It's kind of looking like it may be the La Bomba de Agua, or the water pump. And it may be the end of the Roverball for it, which would be unfortunate because we can't just let Justin have the only Freelander that makes it. We'll figure something out. Never a dull moment around here. We are taking some back roads. You know, in case it breaks, I'd rather not be on the interstate, or if I have to top the coolant off. But we have the heat set to full blast. Good thing it's like 100 degrees out. It's nice to add some heat to that. But that is going to be our telltale sign as to whether or not we run out of coolant. The heat will go away first before the head gasket. We're a few miles down the road, and let me assure you, it is not getting any cooler in here. Which, oddly enough, is a very good thing, because that means we still have heat, which means we still have coolant. All right, as you can see, it is not looking great. We made it here, but there is zero coolant. And if we crawl under here, we have coolant dripping out of the lower timing cover. There is nothing behind the timing cover coolant related besides the water pump, which therefore means done. It is 6:29 on Saturday night. We are in an undisclosed location in Ohio, and I think the Freelander has finally died. We are calling it on this one. Kind of a sad day.
You want a hand?
No, I don't have much stuff.
Got 2 seats, yeah. All right, nice.
Yeah, we start the seats in.
Excellent.
We're in good shape. Well, that's a bit of a different view, I'd say. I guess it is a good thing that things went awry on the longest day of the year, because it is currently 9:30 Eastern time. We still got some good daylight. So it is the start of day 2, and we got 12 of us left. And we are at the old Joliet prison. What's the movie reference? Hey Justin, how is the Freelander doing after 800 miles?
The Freelander is surprisingly good. Everything is working as it should. I still can't believe it. The seats, not so comfortable. The sun goes blasting through the T-tops, not so comfortable. But it's here at the prison, and it's gonna make it. Please make it.
We're going from New York to Joliet, Martin Bay, Nebraska. There's a beach in frickin' Nebraska. Moab. So you're saying it's gonna make it to Los Angeles.
My late great-grandfather used to say, by hook or by crook, it might be on the hook.
And in some other news, my Freelander's doing fine. And we are off. Next stop, somewhere I'm familiar with. We're headed to Iowa. Been a minute since I've been there. Kid you not, I have never been here before. This is only about an hour away from home. That is right, we are at Iowa 80, which is home to the world's largest truck stop. I mean, they have their own frickin' water tower here. I'm a little over 34 hours of drive time into the trip. It only took that to finally make it somewhere 1 hour from home. See, we're right here. Home is there, and I've lived there pretty much my whole life and never been here. And this is a guy that looks like he'd be riding in a Freelander. Frickin' Freelander owners. I tell you, something wrong with them people. Apparently Justin thinks it's all fun and games around here. We'll get to this elephant in the room a little bit later. It really is like the Freelander in spirit though. Check the gas, change the oil. This might have to do with the current temperature situation inside. You know, if they didn't put all these big fans on the side of the road, it probably wouldn't be so windy around here. Probably blow over. And we made it to the frickin' beach in Nebraska. I honestly dislike traveling through this state very much before today. But just look at how cool that is. We got a little bit of electricity happening in the sky. What a neat way to end day 2. This is one of the most epic places I've ever been. It is a freaking beach in Nebraska. I honestly didn't realize a thing like this existed. Every trip out west, we always plan to roll through Nebraska at night because there's pretty much nothing to see. But Nebraska, you have just leveled up. This is pretty neat. And the elephant in the room. I think we came up with a pretty decent replacement for the Freelander. Even though the mighty Freelander couldn't make the trip to California, we are nonetheless, and this is a pretty epic story. As you know, the Freelander decided to give up the Ghost in the middle of Ohio as we were going to visit our buddy. So we get to our buddy Craig and pull the Freelander into his shop to see if it was something fixable. We were obviously leaking a bunch of coolant on the highway, which is typical Freelander behavior, but a little less than ideal when you got another 2,000 miles to drive. Once we determined that it was a fatal trip-ending problem, I asked Craig if we could stuff the Freelander at his shop for a little bit, and I'd hop in with someone else, continue the trip as a passenger. Craig said no. Kind of thought that was a dick move. Why couldn't we leave the Freelander? He said, no, you are welcome to take something. And he was listing off a bunch of cool options. Honestly, a lot of them too nice for me. You know how I roll.
Have you ever gone to AutoZone and they have Lend a tool? Well, we have Lend a Rover. So
Okay.
Joe's down to Rover. I've got an extra. It's Lend a Rover. He's going to take it. I would say an NAS 90 is a slight upgrade from a Freelander, even though the Freelander is the mightiest of Land Rovers. This will do, I think. It'll work.
I mean, we did have to stick some seats in it, but he's like, it's an NAS, it'll make it. So we are rocking the soft top Defender, 5-speed, 3.9 V8. Don't tell Justin, but I'm kind of happy the Freelander broke. Much as I love the Freelander, how do you beat a Defender out here? So we made a stop off for a little bit of fuel, and you know, quick massage. Nebraska, you all are wild. Last year we stopped off at a gas station combined with a lingerie store. But the good news is we found the hot spot. This year's massages.
All right, who got sausage?
So breakfast stop in Denver. We made it to the frickin' Rockies. Being we're in Denver, we should get an omelet, but decided to go with a burrito for a more friendly car experience while eating. It's not. It's good, but it's gonna be everywhere. You know, this hasn't actually been a terrible place to hang out. It's loud. It is loud, but the old D90's been just frickin' chugging along, 80 miles an hour, chewing up fuel, and surprisingly less oil than the Freelander. Way more fuel though. So we are now heading into the mountains. Do a little temp gauge check, because I have a feeling that that thing's gonna be climbing here. Last year this section gave the old Eco Challenge Discovery a bit of a workout. Now starting to climb the temp gauge. We made it to the Eisenhower Tunnel, and look at the frickin' temp gauge. That is a welcome sight compared to the Eco last year. The Eco was in the red. I'm willing to bet the manual transmission that you can't see because it's dark with the extra gear is helping out tremendously. It also just may be a better Land Rover than the Eco Challenge, as much as that pains me to say. I don't know how the Freelander up there is doing. I suspect it's a little down on horsepower, and they don't have much to give up to begin with. Does a person get more fortunate in life than being able to do something like this? There is currently 13 Land Rovers on the trip, 20-some people. I'll be honest, this is freaking surreal. And we are stopped on the interstate. Not too often we get to get out, stretch our legs in the middle of the interstate, in the middle of the mountains. Take an opportunity, soak it all in. It appears they're doing some rock scaling up front. So we got a nice little break. The old D-Lander gets to take a little breather. And Justin's got the perfect mode of transport. And the family truckster is cruising right along. Lost a passenger though. And it appears we are moving. Justin's back there riding his one wheel somewhere. And Corbin's sleeping. Technical difficulties. elevation. It feels like the Defender is now supercharged. We have made it to the beautiful state of Utah. That also means I'm happy to have a classic Defender to visit Moab in. Row, row, row your boat gently up the stream. We are just rolling into Moab. This place was such a blast last year. Happy to make another visit, albeit we're in the middle of driving across the country, so it's a quick one. But man, it doesn't get much cooler than bugs and red rocks.
Oh my God. Why is Moab so hilly?
Why? Because they heard you coming with the Freelander.
So this is Alan from After the Land Rover Experience. I'm sure you guys follow him on Instagram and YouTube, and he's been waiting for a long time. That Freelander is still climbing up the hill.
2 days.
Oh my God. All right, we're here. It's almost done for us. We're almost to California, but we need to do some off-road to make it just a truly amazing trip. What trail are we on?
I got you. We're gonna do a trail called Long Canyon. Kind of basically captures all of Moab in 45 minutes.
We made it to Moab. We got everyone lined up. Everyone but a certain Freelander has seemed to make the entire trip. We are well over 2,000 miles into the journey so far. The sun is getting ready to set, but before that happens, we need to hit up a little red dirt. I mean, when in Rome, we need to see everything Moab has to offer. I mean, at least aesthetically. I mean, I think we got the Freelander perfectly upgraded for this.
Wait. You got it?
Yep.
Over there?
He's gonna go down that hill. No. Ready? Let's get some speed. Ramming speed! Alright, try it.
He's not getting spark, is that what you said?
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh.
Okay.
You didn't pull the coil again.
It's starting great.
Justin, do you have a tow strap?
I'm gonna make sure. Oh yeah, it doesn't seem like anyone unplugged it this time.
This time?
Well, I don't know what else to say, but it is a real Land Rover trip. We stopped here, have a group meeting, get everything planned out, and the replacement Freelander has broken. We think it's vapor locked or the ignition module has overheated. And the only thing I can think to do is to send everybody with the Roverball spirit down the road to see Moab, and we're gonna tow Joe back with the mightiest of Land Rovers! We can't find Joe because he's hiding in shame.
You think this will cool down?
I mean, it gets rid of hot stuff. We could give it a shot.
Good work, yeah.
I mean, if I owned it, it would definitely be getting sprayed by this. Yeah. But being it's a loaner, I'll be respectful.
Oh, the bar's in the way?
The bar's in the way because it's got to flip too far high up to get to the square.
No.
Just like that. I mean, I don't know of a better place for it than that.
Joe, you got the metric wrench on it? That's wrong. Let me get you a metric one. There.
Okay, now we're good.
I'd get closer, but I don't want to lose my eyebrows.
It's got fuel.
I can smell it.
So we got that part of the equation. Oh. I'm the smart guy. I don't know how I made it this far. In life and on the trip.
Oh yeah.
Because of that metric wrench you had, day is saved.
So I think we came up with a solution to our fuel vapor lock issue. At least that's what I think was going on. We cracked the line, we let everything breathe, we cooled it off. We pulled it around with the Freelander. As you can tell, it is once again running perfectly like a replacement Freelander should. We do have one issue though. We're in the middle of frickin' Moab, and we can't just leave a hood to a vehicle that I don't own on the side of the road. What do we do with it? What else would you do with it? See, Justin was smart and bought a Freelander that has one of the coolest roof racks known to man, and I'm happy he brought that along with him because we have, I guess, free hood storage for the time being. It's free, right? We also have a nice fish slipper protecting it. Corbin, did you catch that fish at the lake last night?
Yeah, that was last night, yep.
I'm glad we stayed there. This is kind of a bit of a rough ride in the old Defender. I guess it's a little bit better than a series. We could always go further backwards. So that got us off the trail, so we weren't stranded in the middle of nowhere, but we're back a little closer to civilization. It's not my hood, I want to protect it, so we are going to put it back on for the highway ride. So it is the morning of the final leg of our little journey across the country.
It is a beautiful morning here in Moab,
and to be honest, I'm half tempted to just stay here, let everyone go ahead, and the 2 days that it'll take to drive out and back to this area, I'll just enjoy out here.
but I guess we didn't make it this far to just make it this far. So we're gonna give the Defender
A quick once over, get our front bar back in, check all the fluids and everything. I guess it's the final leg. 800-ish miles, wish me luck.
and in some good news.
We have 12 Land Rovers driving the entire trip. That's 3,000 miles across the country.
Including this very cool Trek Edition new Defender.
And there has only been just two breakdowns. 12 Land Rovers for a combined 25,000 plus miles and just 2 breakdowns. I mean, we don't need to mention both those breakdowns were me. Let's just look at it as a whole. Statistically speaking, the percentages. As a team, we're doing fantastic.
We can finally check the coolant. We've been running too hard to even open this guy. And we're full.
And the oil consumption has been shockingly low. We've put 1,700 miles on this. I stuffed a half a quart in it. And if you've ever been up over I-70 through the Rockies, you know they get ran pretty hard doing that. I'm also gonna recheck that fuel line I undid last night to get this thing going. And I think we're good.
I'm pretty tired.
I think I'll go home now. May have found a new campsite for the night.
Looks pretty nice. I don't know where the nearest hospital is.
I think it was about 100 miles back that way.
Old. So current stop, we are in Monument Valley and continuing
The breakfast burrito tour of the USA.
I just can't seem to get away from stuff dripping. Would have been much easier to take one of those across the country. We're also on the Stopped for Construction tour of America. I'm hoping it was shut down for more than installing a roadside. Currently running into a little issue with Justin's Freelander. It's maxing at like 45 a year. The last gas station had the order reversed, so we're thinking it may have 85 octane in it, which means it's going to be pulling a ton of timing. And we're at like 6,000 feet of elevation. Those two combined with that sweet KV6 that has 113 horsepower aren't mathing well. But we got the D5 blocking wind. I'm sucked up. We're trying to create a little bit of bubble. Let them roll as effortlessly as possible. Knowing Justin, he is probably in there freaking balls right now.
Let me know when you're ready for me to move.
It really is amazing the amount of variety you get to see when you travel 3,000 miles across the country. And it's even cooler when you do it in kind of a short fashion. It's just constantly changing and it never gets less impressive. So we're back up in some elevation. We're at 7,200 feet. We're just above a crawl. Don't tell Justin once again, but I'm slightly happy to be in this cockpit versus the black Freelander. We're gonna pretend I'm sad that that's stuck back in Ohio.
Why is it making this noise?
So we have Justin doing a roadside or gas station side repair. We have the handy dandy underpowered hour Chapman tool set. There is something happening with the variable intake runner system. Changes the plenum volume and whatever's going on is just frickin' killing this thing.
Is it hot in there?
So first actuator flappers on there move fine.
Everywhere I go, we stop and girls are leaving phone numbers on their undergarments.
Well, one of them had a huge bra.
Yeah, I kept that one.
Yeah, I always keep it there.
Spin her down.
Yeah, sometimes they just die. You need it.
It brings
Cooler air.
We could just this will be
Stay.
inspiration. We'll just let it sit there. That and my mushroom gummies.
Ooh.
Mushroom gummies?
Yeah, it says that for road trips specifically.
Oh, wow. They have everything here. All right, filter is back on, which is also the engine cover because we have to have it looking pretty. We can't just have the ugly KV6. But I think we may have found the issue. By we, I mean Justin, because all I did was stand and watch. I'm good at that. When he pulled the one actuator off, it popped up. So thinking the little cam inside popped off the lever and it just wasn't actuating how it's supposed to be actuating. But Justin's in good shape now. Onward to the Portofino. Good news is we got plenty of time.
Yeah, we got
all day according to them because it's open 24 hours.
the bar never closes.
Well, we're on a great pace. We made it 13 feet. Didn't quite do what we wanted it to do. Justin's gonna clear the adaptations though because we got everything all jacked up. So give it a fresh, clean slate. We're gonna give it another shot here. All right, that appears to have done the trick. We are frickin' rolling. Who had any doubts? And to top that off, we just passed our first side to LA. 487. That's all we got left. And we just ticked over 2,000 miles in the Defender. We did 1,500 miles in the Freelander to start this off, so obviously the Defender is better. The speedometer in here is optimistic, but I'd say we're fixed. I don't know what just happened, but I just got frickin' dropped by the Freelander. It's like the thing just picked up 500 horsepower. All right, so we made it about 70 miles, and it appears that it trimmed the check engine light once again. And that throws it into a limp mode, and it conveniently does it at the bottom of every frickin' climb, which, as you can imagine, less than ideal spot. Welcome to Kingman, Arizona. And Mr. D's.
All right, we were just about to leave. All right, if Joe wasn't here, it was
It's the best friendship ever.
And I believe we even found our next victim here. You know, once we run through car number 2. California doesn't have a cool sign when you come in to the state. It's the first time I've ever been here. Was expecting more. So we were just at an inspection station. I didn't know that was a thing, going from state to state. California. I take that back, they have one. We're in California at the Oasis Gas. It is the last gas station for quite a bit. And being we're in something as fuel efficient as the Defender, we're gonna get a little bit of gas. And by a little bit, I mean a frickin' little bit. $8 fucking. I've never seen one count so freaking fast. So the main reason we stopped at this $9 a gallon gas station is because Joe needs to use the bathroom.
Really bad.
Really bad, actually.
Really bad. And I'm here to point them out to him, right where they are.
Oh, the facilities
Yep.
are freaking incredible. See, we got the restroom sign pointed to the restrooms. Look at them. They look really freaking nice. If you didn't want the porta shitters, we have a porta trailer, poop trailer. Oh, it's got wood grain. Oh my God. I seem to have picked up a hitchhiker. I'll be honest, I am ready to be done with this. It has been an awesome journey. It has been a long one. I'm excited to get a full night of sleep at the Portofino. How many miles have you driven so far, Justin?
We are at 2,971 miles so far because of all the side quests.
Okay. That amount of miles. This has been annoying the shit out of me.
What Joe doesn't know is I tried to do that and it's glued to it. If we had a flat tire, I was just gonna cut this off and drive it.
It's been angled the entire trip, and I'm just like,
Makes me mental.
What is?
We can't get the tire cover off. And over the years, it's just like shrunk.
it is part of the tire. I guess, okay, we live with it.
Front O2 sensors that are...
We are at the last gas station. We're like 90-ish miles away. Everyone, by everyone I mean the 2 ones that have been braking, are looking at their cars. Justin's under his. I'm just seeing where we're sitting at oil-wise. We should probably add a little. We're just at the end. And we are almost there. You can see some lights. I don't know what lights those are. There's a lot of them. 5 miles. Doesn't even feel real at this point. I'm so freaking tired. Would you believe it?
Okay, we're just grabbing the space.
And that completes our 3,000-mile journey across the country.
The casino hotel.
Nearly 3,000 miles. We split it up over 4 days to make sure it was a fun trip for everyone. The 3 blind mice, which is the Defender, the P38, and the Freelander. The one remaining Freelander made it to the Portofino, albeit an hour and a half later than the rest of the group, which in Cannonball world is a lifetime. But in the Roverball, it's just on time. Of course, my brain is mush, and my hotel room is at the end of the longest hallway ever. Don't worry, we're still walking. Feels like we're in The Shining. I've stayed at worse places in my life. We're under a little balcony of the hotel room in Portofino. I'm gonna try and hang out. You hear them? We got seals or sea lions hanging out right over there. What a perfect place to end our 3,000-mile journey. And we're off. So Justin drove the Freelander 3,000 miles across the country.
3,200.
3,200, just so he could put it where it belongs.
By hook or by crook, it might be on the hook.
So we're currently out of gas. We're in the middle of Utah, and apparently there's like 100 and some mile stretch without a gas station. Bad thing about that is the Defender has like 100-mile total range, so that math doesn't work out. We are rolling down the hill, no power, and if you look way off out there, you can see the gas station sign. We were so close. You know what, Justin?
Yeah, buddy?
I'm really getting tired of adventure.
I told Joe, everybody says they wanted adventure until adventure shows up. Well, adventure showed up on Highway 70, 6 miles away from the gas station.
So apparently a Defender cannot do 300 plus miles per tank. Who would have thought? The Defender is now a 3-liter supercharged outfit.
Hey, Joe, you got any fuel in that Menards bucket you keep in the back?
I guess Menards doesn't have everything. Well, would you look at that? We ended up where we needed to be.
I pulled him the whole way.
Really, I just didn't like the price at the last station. It was definitely empty. So this restaurant right here sums up my entire trip. (6,040 miles, 108 days. And we made it home. Front of the Defender's a mess. The back of the Defender's a mess. But I'm probably the biggest mess of them all. So a total of 6,040 miles. Roughly 1,500 of those were in the Freelander, 4,500 in the Defender. I've had a couple days to decompress and wrap my head around the whole trip. To be honest, I still can't. That was some of the most fun I have ever had. Somewhat challenging, great group of people. A super fun, unexpected ride for the majority of the trip. This whole trip was exactly what the Land Rover community is about. And on top of that, the original goal, which was to show that Land Rovers are more reliable than everyone thinks, was accomplished. Obviously, you need a well-maintained Freelander like Justin's versus a moderately maintained Freelander like mine to make the entire journey. But hey, 1,500 miles in a Freelander, still a valiant effort. But if we take my Freelander out of the equation, this 1994, that is a 22-year-old, man, I'm off. That's showing how old I am. That is a 32-year-old Land Rover, and we hopped in it without any preemptive maintenance and drove this thing 4,500 miles across the country. And not only that, there was 12 total Land Rovers that made the entire trip from New York to LA, and every one of those, besides someone's Freelander, also made the return trip back home. I had 6,000 miles. That's almost the bare minimum. Some people had quite a bit more, and I would say we have a collective 75,000 miles that was traveled by Land Rovers in just over a week's time, and nothing really went wrong. 75,000 miles in Land Rovers, and nothing really went wrong. The Roverball set out to prove a point, and that point, I believe, was proven. With that being said, I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you subscribing. We're gonna give this guy a once-over, take care of a few little things I noticed along the way before we get it back to Craig. We're also gonna replace the fuel pump preventatively, since some idiot ran it out of gas. I don't wanna give him back the Defender with a compromised fuel pump. It's never good to run him out of gas. But I honestly can't thank him enough, and I can't even fathom this whole scenario. Having someone let you borrow their Defender to drive from Ohio to California and back is something else, man. Roverball, one for the books.